More breaking news tonight. Green Party candidate Jill Stein announced that today her supporters filed a legal petition seeking a recount in Pennsylvania. That's one of 3 states she's focusing on in her recount effort, along with Wisconsin and Michigan. The Wisconsin recount is set to get underway later this week, and the Clinton campaign is now on board. I spoke with Jill Stein a short time ago. Dr. Stein, at this point, do you have any evidence at all, actual evidence of voter fraud, of fraud at the ballot boxes?
No. What we have are predictors that if tampering took place, that it would be most likely to be discovered in the 3 states where we are looking. But it's like when you get into an airplane, you do not want to have evidence that the airplane is rapidly losing altitude before you create a backup system to be sure that your airplane has a safety net, that it has built-in quality assurance. That's what we're calling for in this election and in all elections, that we need to have a system that we can be confident in.
You're talking about potential hacking, and obviously there have been instances, and obviously the DNC emails were hacked. There were attempts to get into and efforts to get into various voter databases. But the FBI has been investigating that, and I assume continues to investigate that. And even the Clinton campaign, their counsel says they've had lawyers and data analysts and programmers looking since the results and have not uncovered any actionable evidence.
That's right. And what the people who watchdog the voting machine equipment, what they will be very quick to tell you is that this is something you cannot see unless you actually count the ballots. There is otherwise no standard against which to measure it. So unless we actually look, we will never know. When Donald Trump said that the election was rigged, he had a lot of resonance, maybe for different reasons than what he was talking about. And when Bernie Sanders talked about the economy being rigged, that had enormous resonance. That's not going away, and that applies to the outcome of the vote as well. We're saying
but without having actual
a
evidence
vote that we can have confidence in.
Without having evidence, aren't you actually contributing to, and perhaps unfairly, to that lack of confidence in the actual system itself?
You know, if you believe that you can just sweep things under the rug and they'll get better, you know, you might buy that.
Well, no, I'm not. But the FBI,
don't.
but do you not believe the FBI is investigating any potential hacks?
What the voting technology experts tell us is that you cannot tell unless you're actually counting the paper votes, and I don't think the FBI has done that.
Well, you know, one of the key people who gave rise to this talk initially of hacking and a recount was a man named J. Alex Halderman, who's a professor of computer science at the University of Michigan. He himself has said that he believes the most likely explanation is that the polls were systematically wrong rather than the election was hacked.
And he himself says, but that shouldn't stop us from finding out. He himself is a very strong advocate of going forward with this inquiry and with the recount of the paper ballots so that we can actually find out. Otherwise, you don't know. You're flying blind.
Donald Trump, as you know, has accused you of trying to fill your own coffers by doing this. Can you guarantee that all the money goes to that you're raising, millions of dollars, goes to the recount effort, and any money that's left over, what happens to that?
Absolutely, and this is all transparent on our website. You have the budget there as to exactly how this is being budgeted, but it's all going into a dedicated recount fund, which is not accessible to the campaign. The campaign and the party do not have access to that fund.
And what happens to it afterward if there's more left over?
Well, we don't expect there to be money left over. If it turns out that there is, we will dispose of it according to FEC guidelines. And
are you creating a mailing list off this or creating a database of this for your own future use?
You know, we don't have plans at the moment, but, you know,
But you are collecting names and contact information of the people donating money.
That is always the case. But, you know, there are a lot of voters who feel like this is a really critical movement, and it's a need that hasn't been filled by the other parties, and we intend to carry this movement forward. This is a deeply felt need of voters coming out of this deeply painful election who want to take a step forward and do something really positive and not simply wallow in the cynicism, which is actually quite broad spread right now. I think this is a wonderful sign of people standing up to ensure that we create this promise of democracy that we're supposed to have.
You were saying it's a painful election for obviously for about half the country, it was not a painful election. It was actually a very positive election because their candidate, Donald Trump, won. You had said at a town hall...
Well, that's not half of the country. Let me put it that way. You know, it's almost half of the voters who did not see reason to come out and vote. So we got a problem here.
Well, you'd said at a CNN town hall in August that you would have trouble sleeping at night if either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton was elected. I mean, the obvious question is, would you be asking for this recount if, in fact, Hillary Clinton was elected?
I was asked many times during the campaign if I would stand up and launch a recount if there were reasons to question the vote. And I have always been committed that, yes, I will do that. I will step up to the plate if there was reason to need to verify our votes.
Dr. Stein, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, just had more breaking news. Vice President-elect Mike Pence says Team Trump will be making some very important announcements tomorrow. President-elect Trump and Mitt Romney are scheduled to talk in private over dinner tomorrow. Their second meeting is speculation and controversy swirl over who Trump will choose to be Secretary of State. More on that ahead.